Thank you for joining me here this afternoon. The time is currently 3:28 Central, 4:28 Eastern, and we have several tornado-warned supercells here in Ohio that are rotating enough to produce a brief tornado here. We've got several tornado warnings. We've got about 3 right now, all with storm chasers on them, all right? Right now we are watching the central Ohio area for a tornado threat. There's a tornado watch in effect here for portions of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and even goes all the way into West Virginia here for the next several hours, all right? So we also have 7 severe thunderstorm warnings right now, all right? These are going to be scattered around Ohio and Michigan. This has been a system that's been sweeping through the Ohio Valley area all day today. So we're going to continue to cover this live here now that we do have 3 tornado warnings currently in effect. Once again, we have 3 right now. We may get more later, but at the minute, we've just got 3. We do have a relatively new mesoscale. There's a 20% chance of a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch being issued here in central Texas between now and 4:15 Central, 5:15 Eastern. Reason being is because we actually have another mode of storms firing off here in the south central United States today, and then we have another threat in the Kansas and Missouri area. The Kansas City area is going to be under the gun this evening, okay? So we may see some isolated supercell activity down here in Texas. We do have just a couple of storms firing off there in central Texas. But right now, the main event is definitely up here in Ohio. If you're under a tornado warning, you need to be taking cover immediately. A lot of these storms are very dangerous. Again, they're rotating very strong here close to Columbus. All right, Columbus is not in a warning. But if you're in Columbus, you may have a smaller cluster of rain showers approaching here. It's not going to be anything major. But Columbus, you do need to be aware for a potential severe weather threat down the line here, okay? So right now, the tornado warnings we have, we're down to 2 now. One of them did just expire, but we still have a tornado warning in effect for Union, Madison, and Champaign counties in Ohio. And then another one for Merrill, Crawford, and Marion counties in Ohio, all right? So we got Mount Gilead, Cardington, Clarendon, and Galion in this tornado warning, and then this one includes the Marysville towards Milford Center, not quite down to Mechanicsburg, but it does go out to Plain City here, okay? So there's that tornado warning, all right? Again, these are the only 2 that we do have in effect right now, all right? We do have several severe thunderstorm warnings, but those aren't quite as concerning as our active, ongoing tornado warning, so we're going to try to cover those for the most part, all right? So we do have a pretty big update to tomorrow's forecast, actually. We do now have a enhanced risk of severe weather tomorrow, all right? This does include portions of southern Illinois, southwest Indiana, southeast Missouri, northeast Arkansas, northwest Tennessee, and west Kentucky. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. That's going to be for St. Clair and Macomb counties in Michigan, mainly for the threat of wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and a tornado possible with this line of storm, so look out for that. There are a few areas of rotation there. But anyway, as I was saying, tomorrow we do have an enhanced risk of severe weather, and I am actually included in that enhanced risk, okay? So that'll be a pretty interesting day for me tomorrow, all right? This is actually driven by, it's not driven by a tornado threat, but it is driven by a 30% risk of damaging wind gusts, right? So if you're in that red area, you have a 30% chance to see wind gusts of 60 miles per hour or higher within 25 miles of any given point. So we're definitely going to see some damaging winds tomorrow. And then also, we do have a hatched risk for hail. That's actually centered around the central Texas area for the storms that are firing off this evening, okay? Those will be in full swing tomorrow. All right, so I may even do some filming of weather around here tomorrow, all right, because things are going to actually be pretty intense in my neck of the woods. So I'll keep you guys updated with the forecast for tomorrow very actively. I may have a forecast out this evening if I remember. The reason I haven't been doing any videos lately is because we've been live every day. We've been live multiple times a day because I do go live for all the big severe weather events, if you're not aware. I am not thinking that I'm going to go live on Friday. As of right now, we just have a marginal risk of severe weather, but if this does get upgraded to a slight might go live for this, and it might actually get upgraded to a slight risk. All right, so we'll just have to watch out for that. We do actually have a storm up in northern Alabama right now that is currently causing some lightning, some wind, some hail, some rain in the Coleman area, as well as Hansville. This is mainly for the threat of 40-mile-per-hour winds and pea-sized hail there. We kind of just got storms scattered around the United States right now, really, all right? So we're watching several different areas. Again, the main ones that we're watching is Ohio and a little bit of southeast Michigan there. And, I mean, Ohio has gotten hit so hard this year, guys. We've had, like, 3 or 4 different Ohio tornado outbreaks. It's really unfortunate that they have to see this again. This is one of Ohio's most active weather years in a long time. We've had more tornadoes in Ohio so far this year than we've had tornadoes in Oklahoma, which is just insane. We'd actually have a live cam here from southwestern Ohio. This is from Warren County. All right, this area is mainly done with the storms for today, but we might as well bring it up anyway, because why not? So, there we go. We don't really have any other good live cams to bring up. Actually, that's not true. We have this one here from the Detroit area. That's actually a really good one. That is there in southeast Michigan. That area currently has a storm rolling through there, so that'll be interesting. That storm is currently producing 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-inch in diameter hail. We could also bring up this cam here close to Buffalo, New York. This is actually in Canada, but we'll go ahead and bring it up. So there we go. We do have a pretty decent wall of webcams here. We're taking advantage of all of our cyclone ports possible. We could actually bring up something from the Texas area now that we do have storms firing off there. Maybe we'll bring up this one from Central Texas, but we'll have to replace something. We'll replace the Warren County cam. So because we're watching like 3 or 4 different areas of potential severe weather today, I think it would be good just to kind of break down the forecast here. We're going to go ahead and turn on the NAM 3KM and show what this model is currently showing. So, this is, hold on, let's go and get it to one frame ahead. Yeah, this is right now, all right? This is right now, technically. So, we see we have our massive line of storms here sweeping through Ohio, Michigan, and guys, this has been going through Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana for a long time. Like I said earlier, this is definitely an MCS event. I don't think it'll be a derecho. The thing with the derecho is that it has to travel 240 miles to be considered that, and that's just not in the picture here. But anyway, alright, we do have our storms starting to fire off in central and southern Texas. We do have our storms in the southeast that we're watching. But you'll notice our other area where we have a slight risk here, Kansas and Missouri. They don't really get any action here until the evening time hours, around 8 or 9 p.m., maybe even after that, okay? So we're going to be live at least a couple of times today, alright? I think that I might be live again for this evening time mode of storms. We'll be live for the Wichita area. As they approach Emporia, Kansas, hopefully. I don't want to make any promises yet. And then by the time we get to those hours, the storms over here will be much messier and unorganized as they enter the northeast and the mid-Atlantic area here. So maybe an isolated strong to severe storm, but nothing like what we have now where we've got, the 2 tornado warnings, 7 severe thunderstorm warnings all at the same time. So this line of storms is kind of going to its most it's going through its strongest stage right now, pretty much, you guys. It's definitely pretty intense right now, so we're going to continue to watch this here and see if an isolated tornado does occur within this line somewhere. And we're also going to monitor the damaging wind, large hail, and flooding threat associated with these storms as well. So, that's what we're doing. We do have a new tornado warning. This is an extension here. This does include a very large area. This includes Danville, Fredericktown, and Lexington, Ohio. This is just to the south of Mansfield. If you're in Mansfield, maybe the emergency alert went off on your phone. You are not technically included in this warning, but I would still watch out on the south side of Mansfield because you actually are in this warning. So respect the polygon. If you are in this warning, make sure that you are taking shelter immediately. This is for Knox, Richland, Morrow, and Ashland counties in Ohio. This does include a portion of Interstate 71 here. So if you're traveling on that road, get off as soon as possible and find the nearest shelter, because this is a very close to being a tornado here. We've got some very tight rotation close to the Darlington area at the minute. So I'm pretty concerned about that storm there. And then we're also watching our other tornado warned storm close to the Marysville area. It's rotating pretty decently as well near Woodstock. So we'll watch that. Things are starting to pick up over there as well. But yeah. If anybody has any questions about their location, make sure that you do leave those down below in the chat, because this is, again, a very widespread day of storms. We got several areas that we're watching for today, so if you have any questions about your specific location, make sure to leave that down below, and I will try to answer that accurately and honestly. We may even have a new tornado warning come out soon for this storm closer to the Shelby area. This is rotating very good. It's definitely trying to form at least a little bit of a velocity couplet there. Currently, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag, but I would not be totally shocked if that did warrant its own tornado warning. Again, right now that's to the south and the east of Shelby, northwest of Taylortown. So look out for that there. It is not tornado warnings. You do not need to seek shelter yet, but we will continue to watch that as soon as the tornado warning gets issued. Make sure that you are taking shelter. So anyway, going back out here to the south of Mansfield, Ohio. Again, if you are in like downtown Mansfield, maybe the emergency alert went off on your phone. That would just be because your phone is connected to a cell tower inside of the warning box, because downtown Mansfield is not, I repeat, it is not included in this, but the south side of the city actually is, right? If you're in like the South Boulevards area, as far south as Caesarea, Little Washington, Hanley Village, all these areas here on the south side of Mansfield are included in this tornado warning, and you should be taking shelter. So we'll continue to watch this here as things progress. Again, we've got quite a bit of rotation here with some of these storms. So, again, if anybody has any questions about their location, feel free to leave those down below in chat. I'll try to answer those accurately and honestly. Again, I'm also pretty concerned about this rotation near the Taylortown area. That's going to be heading towards Ganges, and Rome eventually. I'd be watching out for that. This is about to cross over. It just crossed over Highway 191. It's getting ready to cross over Highway 215. Again, that is rotating a little bit there. Hello, Clint. And then this rotation near Lexington right now is pretty intense. This is not a tornado on the ground yet as far as we can tell. There's no confirmation yet. Hello, Lily. Hard to tell. I do not believe that is a debris signature. I think that's contamination near Lexington, but you should be in shelter in Lexington anyway. What is Fort Wayne looking like? Fort Wayne, you're good. Alright, these storms have passed you. You probably got some intense storms earlier. You'll have to let me know what you got earlier there. But, Fort Wayne, you are good to go. You're in the general thunderstorm risk for tomorrow. We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning, by the way. It's going to be for Franklin, Delaware, Madison, and Union counties in Ohio. That does include Dublin. That has the tornado possible tag on it. Also, 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds possible with that storm. But anyway, back to Fort Wayne here. You're on the general thunderstorm risk for tomorrow. But other than that, the forecast is looking pretty good for you guys. You're not in any sort of severe risk for tomorrow. That's just the general thunderstorm risk there, the light green shade. Alright, so again, we are watching a couple of tornado-warned storms here if you are just now tuning in. This one near Lexington, Ohio it's not quite tight enough to produce a tornado. But there is definitely some rotation there, some level of rotation. But yeah, that was definitely not a debris signature. I didn't think it was. I was just confirming. This tornado warning expires in 3 minutes, the one for the Marysville area. That may get reissued. It might not. I really don't know. It is quite a bit messier rotation-wise now, so it probably won't, actually. So, go and stay in shelter for a few more minutes there, but after that expires, we will just be watching this one storm near Lexington very closely. This is right over Interstate 71 right now. And then this is going to cross Highway 13 somewhere near or to the north of Belleville. It's a major highway, so look out for that. Be taking shelter in that whole area. Let's go and do a quick update on the Texas area. These little storms are trying to fire off here. Isolated supercell threat this afternoon and evening. The main threat is going to be in between Kerrville and Stephenville, Texas, in between those locations. So if you know where Stephenville is and where Kerrville is, that area is going to be kind of in between those two areas is where we're really watching for a potential severe threat this evening. Alright, so again, this is some pretty concerning rotation near Lexington. By the way, that one tornado warning I mentioned, it did actually expire when I was at school. There was a tornado watch for me right now. Yeah, there was a tornado watch for the Fort Wayne area earlier. This rotation is, again, it's trying to become organized here. It just crossed over Interstate 71. So be looking out in that area. Lexington, give it a couple more minutes, but after that, you should be good pretty soon here. You're just going to be dealing with some more severe storm activity. But your tornado threat will be over. But yeah, it is looking like some sort of inflow is trying to develop where you got that little, dip in the line there. So we'll have to watch this very closely here off to the north of Belleville, Ohio. We're down to one tornado warning now. They did remove the tornado warning for the backside of this storm, or maybe it expired, I'm not sure. I think they just removed it, though. So the warning down here actually did not expire. It just got removed. Is Missouri good? Missouri is going to potentially see some sort of severe weather threat materialize this evening into tonight. It depends on where you're talking about in Missouri. Alright, but we do have a slight risk in the Kansas City region. Outside of that, in the dark green area there, that's your marginal risk, and that covers a pretty good amount of northwestern Missouri. But if she's in like the Jefferson City area, St. Louis, that area is fine. But I will say the entire state of Missouri, for the most part, is going to be under the gun tomorrow for severe weather, except for maybe the western side. St. Louis, St. Louis is under that enhanced risk for tomorrow. So today, St. Louis is good, but tomorrow will actually be pretty significant for the St. Louis area. Damaging winds, large hail, maybe an isolated tornado possible there. We'll go and bring up the NAM for that area. Why not? Since we're in a more calm period of weather right now anyway. So this evening. Let's go ahead and get through that. All right, tomorrow morning, we got showers developing in the St. Louis region. And then by sometime into the late afternoon, early evening time frame, we will potentially have a pretty big sweeper move through St. Louis there with large hail, damaging winds. Again, maybe an isolated tornado comes out of that. By 8 to 9 o'clock, those storms are going to be rolling through my area. But yeah, St. Louis is going to get hit pretty hard tomorrow, most likely. Sometime between 4 and 6 p.m., maybe 7 p.m. The forecast is still a little messy since this is a full day out. But yeah, today St. Louis is good, but tomorrow they will see some action. So, look out for that. And let's go back to our tornado warned storm here. Again, if you're just now tuning in, we do have a tornado warned storm that is currently in effect here for Lexington, Ohio. Alright. This also includes Belleville, Ohio, Butler, Ohio, Perrysville, Ohio, Hayesville, Ohio, Jelloway, Ohio, and Palmyra, Ohio. So, look out in this area. It does look like the rotation is getting much weaker, though, which is good. So now it's time to kind of focus on some of our severe thunderstorm warned storms. This line does extend a little bit up here into southeastern Michigan, and we do actually have a live look from the Detroit area here. The one that says Chapiton, the cam in the middle there. The storm just went through there, and you can see definitely brought along some heavy rainfall, and maybe even a little bit of wind and hail, but it wasn't anything crazy in those aspects. It was mainly just heavy rain. But now, these storms are going to kind of cross over Lake Erie here, impact portions of like the Toronto, Canada area. And then eventually, if they last long enough, which is highly unlikely, but if they do, they may sweep a little bit into just like western New York, like the Buffalo area. But Again, that's almost, I'd say it's very unlikely. But it could happen. We may see some rain and storms in that area this evening into tonight. So look out there in Buffalo, New York for that. But nothing major once again. All right. So, not too much rotation associated with this storm southeast of Manfield here anymore. Go and stay in shelter, though. Respect the polygon, the tornado warning polygon there, and stay in shelter. We don't really have any other areas of rotation trying to materialize right now. I do actually have an update on some of yesterday's severe weather, alright? Is there any tornadoes on the ground? No, there's not. There are no tornadoes on the ground at the minute. So, I do have an update on yesterday's massive tornado outbreak. There was at least one high-end EF2 tornado. This produced wind gusts up to 118 miles per hour near Virgil, Kansas. We had mobile home damage and tree damage from Clay County, Missouri from a tornado. Dallas County, Iowa. Damage to outbuildings. Sheet metal destroyed. All right, it's pretty significant damage out there. We got several tornadoes in Nebraska. Reports of damage in Nebraska. Trees, power lines, some structural damage. Luckily, that only tornado that we had, I guess the two tornadoes that we had that were on the stronger side of things, was the one that was in southeastern Iowa. All right, there was quite a bit of damage in the Mediapolis area. Or is it Mediapolis? Mediapolis. That's a weird name. Mediopolis, I want to call it. It feels more natural. But anyway, that area, and then also the Virgil, Kansas area. Those were the only two, strong tornadoes that we had. One of them was a wedge. One of them was close to a wedge. But it was a stovepipe. Pretty definitively. I don't remember which one was which, but I do remember that. But yeah, we had a lot more tornadoes than that, but those were the two significant ones that we had yesterday that did, strong damage. When we were watching tomorrow's threat, I don't think it's going to be anything crazy, but I do think we are going to see some significant damage and winds and large hail. We do have that enhanced risk in place, and that does even include my area. So, I'm just barely in that enhanced risk there. And yeah, the rotation with this storm is much less impressive now, which is good. We do have a storm that is going through the north side of the Columbus metro towards the Dublin, Ohio area. This is going to produce some damaging winds and large hail. There's the tornado possible tag on it. There are a couple notches that could develop rotation there. But other than that, there's not too much that's really going on right now. All right. Other than just your typical severe thunderstorms. Nothing really tornadic is happening other than this one storm south of Mansfield, and that's kind of weakening out, kind of dying out there. I do not believe we've had any confirmed tornadoes yet today. But we have had several reports of damaging winds and large hail. We've had 11 reports of damaging wind gusts of 60 miles per hour or higher, and 9 reports of hail of 1 inch in diameter or larger. So, large hail. The tornado threat for the Kansas City area tonight is much more isolated than this event. There may be a small tornado threat that tries to develop as these supercells are firing off in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma, right along the border there. In that little area, there is that very, very specific small area. There is a small potential for a brief isolated tornado. And the forecast may change. That may move a little bit further to the north. I don't think there's really a chance that it moves further to the south. But yeah, we do have a marginal risk of tornadoes from the SPC in that area this evening into tonight and the overnight hours. So, just thought I should mention that no tornadoes are really expected. I wonder in the summer if there will be a lot of hurricanes. This is expected to be a very active Atlantic hurricane season. One of the more active ones we've had in years, all right? So I'm going to be doing live hurricane coverage. That's all I'm going to say because I do actually have a stream scheduled for May 15th where I'm going to be explaining basically what I'm going to be doing whenever there's a hurricane this summer. So I haven't really done hurricane coverage before in terms of like live coverage. I have done videos on ongoing hurricanes, but this year it's going to be much different. It's going to be very exciting, very fun stuff. Obviously, it's not fun to see the hurricane, but I do have big plans for the hurricane season.
We got fire trucks.
Great. Well, I'm live watching tornadoes. Anyway. I do think the tornado warning will be removed for this area soon. Go ahead and stay in shelter as long as this is in effect here. The rotation may try to recycle, but I don't know. I just don't think it's going to happen at this point. So, hopefully the National Weather Service does remove that warning soon. Last year, Florida got hit by so much hurricanes. They only got one hurricane landfall in Florida. But that one hurricane was very significant, obviously. That was Hurricane Idalia. Kind of tracked through this little path that I'm making right here. And it made landfall as a low-end EF4, I do believe, or a high-end EF3. I don't remember what the official rating was. I want to say it was EF3, but I don't know that for a fact. But even an I'm saying EF, I'm stupid. A Category 3. I'm thinking about tornadoes because we got tornado warnings ongoing in Ohio. But yeah, they did get hit by a Category 3 hurricane in the Big Bend area here. But really the entire state of Florida got hit pretty hard by that one hurricane. But yeah, as I was saying, even a Category 3 is still a major hurricane technically. I remember there was a supermoon, which it doesn't sound like it has to do with anything at all about this hurricane, but that enhanced the hurricane storm surge so much. There were a couple of areas that got like 15 feet of storm surge, I do believe, maybe even up to 18 feet in a couple spots. I don't know about 18, but I know 15 was recorded at least once because of that supermoon, all right? 15 feet of storm surge is usually only something you see with a Category 5 hurricane, but we saw it with a Category 3 because the supermoon, I don't know exactly how it works, but what I do know is that it makes the storm surge effects all weird, even if there wasn't a hurricane coming in. So the fact that it did cross over on the exact day of Hurricane Idalia's landfall was very unfortunate. It sent a lot of places, a lot of things underwater, obviously. So anyway, back over to our ongoing tornado warning here. Again, this is in between Mansfield and Fredericktown, Ohio. Butler, Perrysville, we are asking you to shelter for just a few more minutes here. Luckily, it does look like the rotation is weakening out in this area for the most part. But it actually could try to redevelop here somewhere southeast of Butler now. So if you're in Butler, you are good. This has passed you now. But now we're worried about areas like Jellaway and Perrysville. As well as Hayesville, there's another area of rotation closer to the Hayesville and the Widowville area that is trying to develop there. So let's go ahead and get a brief update on our storms in Texas here. And yeah, they're not doing too much quite yet. It doesn't seem like. They are definitely getting going though. This one's southwest of Brady. It's going to travel over Highway 87. Could be pretty significant there. Maybe some isolated heavy rain, some lightning, some wind. It's not going to be anything crazy, though. It's just your typical garden variety storm right there. All right. So, the time is now close to 4 p.m. Central. Since there's no areas of immediate concern here in Ohio or anywhere else, really, we're all the way down to 3 severe thunderstorm warnings. We only have 1 tornado warning. This warning is going to get removed very soon. I'm pretty confident in that happening. I think what I am going to go ahead and do here is actually end off this live coverage here. You remember 2021 or 2022, there's a huge storm that knocked down a lot of trees, and it was a huge storm. 2021 was a huge tornado year. That was Mayfield, Kentucky year. So, 2022 wasn't super inactive, but it wasn't as crazy as 2021. So anyway, as I was saying, I am going to go ahead and end off the live stream here. I do want to thank you all for joining me this afternoon. If the tornado threat does materialize again, I will be back on here live once more. But for now, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.